morning. You are watching NFTV News Center. I am Temitope Oladipo and this is Morning News Update. The Oyo State government has called on all dog and pet owners to vaccinate their animal against rabies to prevent the spread of zoonotic diseases. This call was made by the State Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Barrister Olasokanmi Olaleye, at the Rabies Sensitization Awareness Program held at the State Veterinary Hospital, Mokola, Ibadan. It described rabies as a serious public health threat, particularly in rural communities, noting that the disease remains underreported but devastating. The commissioner, who spoke through the Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Mrs. Laide Aziz, reminded residents that the Oyo State Dog Law 2020 mandates annual vaccination of dogs and prohibits them from roaming freely, stressing that non-compliance attracts fines of 250,000 naira, imprisonment for up to 6 months or both. He added that the ministry, through veterinary services in all the 33 local government areas, has intensified mass vaccination campaigns, promoted responsible pet ownership, and enhanced public awareness. In a related development, the government have been advised to enforce laws guiding against non-vaccination of animals, as the practice poses serious risks to human health in society. Professor Akinlabi Oladele Ogunleye, a professor of veterinary microbiology at the University of Ibadan, gave the advice while featuring on Frontline among the program on New Frontiers Television.
Bringing government into this, we are talking about policy. Of course, part of what a responsible government does is to bring policy into place that will help people to do what is right. Every human being needs some measure of push to do what is right. When you get to some society, some people are not doing things right because of God, but they are doing things right because they know that if you violate it, there are systems in place that will call you into order and possibly give you the repercussion. So part of the responsibility of the government is to bring out policies that will encourage people to do what is right. As touching the, and I must tell you that we have some laws. You know, I told you earlier on that in place already. Part of it is the issue of the vaccination, and there are repercussions. What is the word they use in law now? There are punishments if you violate them. So we have, I think, one other important thing is for the government to do is to see to it that these laws, the existing one, are strictly enforced. Because every human being needs some measure of push.
The Oyo State government has ordered owners and occupants of illegal structures around Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, Liberty Road, Oyo State, Ibadan, to vacate the areas within 14 days. The directive issued to the Oyo State Rule for Law Enforcement Authority takes effect from Tuesday, January 27, 2026, and targets shanties, kiosks, stores, and ram selling points along the stadium walls and adjoining corridors from Liberty Road Junction to the High Court roundabout on Ring Road. OYRLEA described the encroachment as public nuisances that pose security risk, disrupt urban order, and degrade the environment. The chairperson of the authority, Honorable Justice Aderonke Aderemi, retired, said the action was taken on the instruction of Governor Seyi Makinde to restore order and protect public infrastructure. The enforcement operation will be carried out jointly by OYRLEA, the Environmental Task Force, the Amotekun Corps, and the Nigerian Police Force. The authority warned that non-compliance with the stipulated period will attract legal enforcement measures. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria and Turkey have agreed to fast-track cooperation in trade, energy, and defense to boost jobs, investments, and shared prosperity. Speaking during a state visit to Ankara, Tinubu said discussions with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan focused on deepening bilateral relations and removing barriers to business growth. Both leaders agreed to work towards a $5 billion trade volume between the two countries. He announced the establishment of a joint economy and trade committee to drive implementation, attract new investments, and support industrial growth and technology transfer. The talks also covered security, education, and defense cooperation, with Tinubu noting that Turkey counter-terrorism expertise will strengthen regional security efforts. 9 bilateral agreements covering trade, defense, education, media, and social development were exchanged at the end of the meetings. The Nigerian Independent System Operator (NISO) says the national grid has been fully restored following a partial system disturbance on Tuesday. In a statement issued in Abuja, NISO said the disturbance occurred at about 10:48 a.m. originating from the Gombe transmission substation and spreading to Jeba, Kangi, and Ayede substations. The incident led to the tripping of some transmission lines and generating units, causing the partial system collapse. NISO said corrective measures were immediately deployed, with restoration work beginning around 11:11 a.m. and normal operation now fully restored. The operator clarified that the incident did not amount to a total grid collapse, contrary to reports in some sections of the media. Further details, NISO said, are available on its website. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast dust haze across the country from Wednesday to Friday. According to its outlook release in Abuja, moderate dust haze with visibility of 2 to 5 kilometers is expected over the northern and north-central regions, with poorer visibility of up to 1,000 meters in parts of Katsina, Kano, and Jigawa states. Slight dust haze is anticipated in the north by Friday. NIMET also predicted mostly sunny skies in the southern region, with slim chances of isolated thunderstorm and light rainfall over parts of Lagos, Bayelsa, Delta, Rivers, Edo, Ondo, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states. The agency warned that dust particles will remain suspended in the air and advised people with respiratory conditions to take precautions, while motorists and airline operators were urged to exercise caution. You're still watching the news update from NFTV News Center. Up next after this break is foreign news. Thanks for staying with us. We continue with the international news. The wife of South Korea ousted former president has been sentenced to 20 months in jail for accepting bribes from the controversial Unification Church. However, the court cleared 52-year-old Kim Kyung on charges of stock price manipulation and receiving free opinion polls from the political broker before the 2022 presidential election, which her husband Yoon Suk won. Yoon was already being sentenced to 5 years in jail for abusing power and obstructing justice in relation to his failed martial law bid in 2024. This marks the first time in South Korea's history that a former presidential couple are convicted at the same time. President Donald Trump said his administration was going to de-escalate a little bit in Minnesota after the second fatal shooting of the United States citizen by federal immigration officers there. In early January, Rennie Good was fatally shot by an immigration officer, followed by Alex Pretty, who was killed after being stopped by border agents this past weekend. Pretty's death reignited local protests and public outcry across the country and led to criticism from lawmakers in both parties. Trump's remark had the latest sign of his administration is taking a step back on its operation in Minnesota. Speaking to other reporters ahead of a rally in Iowa Tuesday night, Trump said he viewed the killing of Preti, an intensive care nurse at the veteran hospitals, as a very unfortunate incident. And that concludes this update from New Frontiers TV News Center. Many thanks for joining us. I am Temitope Oladipo. Good morning.